So the folks at Blender Foundation have just announced the release of Blender 5.1, and this is considered as a version that is built for both speed, performance, and stability. And Blender 5.1 does come with some amazing cool set of features that you definitely want to explore if you're working with Blender. And for those who like to download this, you can simply go over to the link in the description that will bring you right here where you'll be able to download Blender 5.1. It's also worth mentioning that if you like to check out the release notes, you can also go over to the release notes section where you would see some of the nice cool features that are right here. Of course, the folks at Blender have also put together an amazing release notes section that actually highlights some of the key features, but if you like to find out more about the nitty-gritties of Blender 5.1, you will find them here. And with that said, let's actually talk about some things that deals with compatibility. First off, Blender 5.1 libraries have been updated to match the VFX platform of 2026, which includes Python 3.13, OpenColor IO 2.5, OpenEXR 3.4, and OpenVDB 13.0. So if you're into VFX or compositing, you will definitely love this one. Node tools now have a global unique ID name requirement, and these can be set automatically by opening and saving files in 5.1 or choosing manually to use the editor node header. It's also worth mentioning that a couple of days before we got into beta that we did get some update to Grease Pencil, as the Grease Pencil fields have been revamped, giving Blender users an amazing set of field tools that you can now use to create nice cool fields when working with Grease Pencil. I think a lot of creators will love this one, as it's pretty impressive how the Grease Pencil currently works. And if you're working with previous blend files, these are now automatically converted to the new system, but some procedural setup when you're simply using geometry nodes and the Grease Pencil material might need manual adjustments. So if you'd like to read more about this, you can go ahead and check out the Grease Pencil section where you can see more about the new field tool that is now available with Blender 5.1 when it comes to the Grease Pencil and working with nodes. And speaking about nodes, we do have some interesting updates with the geometry nodes. The new volume grid system, which was introduced in Blender 5.1, seems to be extended to actually accommodate for a number of things, and the majority of these has to do with community-led improvement. And this includes the new cube grid topology, which simply allows creating grids from scratch while all voxels within the cube are activated. And we've also got the new grid dilate and erode node, which simply grows or shrinks the set of active voxels within a grid. There's also the new grid mean and median node that simply allows the averaging of values in a grid in different ways. The set grid background is also available, and if you're thinking about clipping your grid, there is a new clip grid node that activates all voxels outside a specific box. And if you like to convert grids to points, there is a new node for that as well. And speaking of nodes, there is also the string to curve node, and this is going to be super useful if you're into creating motion graphic style stuff. And speaking about the motion graphic style stuff, you can actually go ahead and download the demo for this particular one. So we've actually gone ahead to download these, and you can see it right here. Right down here is the string to curve. So this is where the whole magic happens, and you can take a look at this example and see how much cool stuff you can do with it. If you press the spacebar to get this animation running, you do have some very interesting parameters that you can use to create a nice bouncing effect. If you like to have some line offset, you can actually go ahead and do that. You can throw in some line delay if this is something that you're into. So depending on what you're trying to make with these things, this nice example is right here, and you can go ahead and explore with it. And speaking about cool stuff that is now available with geometry nodes, the bundles are getting some new tools, which includes the get bundle item and store bundle item. And if you're into rigging or animation, you will love this one, as we're also having the bone info node. And this just simply allows you access the pose of individual bones. And it's quite interesting to see that we're getting this marriage between bones and geometry nodes. This creates the idea that the beginning of procedural rigging might just be around the corner. Alongside that, we're getting the UV unwrap and pack UV island nodes as well. There is just a ton of things that are currently available with geometry nodes, so just in case you like to explore with these ones, then you can also go through and see this for yourself. When it comes to Eevee and the Viewport, the Shader Raycast node, which is a new raycast node that allows the casting of rays against the scene geometry, is doing some amazing stuff. Now, these can be used for both X-ray effect like we have here, which is an amazing one. So again, these are files that are currently available. Check these ones out. They're within the demo section, so you can get the X-ray skeleton arm. This is made available by Cartesian Caramel, so you can download these and study that. Another one, which is also really good that has to do with raycasting, is the raycast line, and this is done by two creators, Andy and Miguel. So in case you also like to explore these and get a feel of how raycast nodes actually work. Eevee also has some interesting updates as well, as the planar reflection now supports glossy reflection and refraction. Eevee now comes with an added transparency evaluation for shader to RBG node. There's an improvement to the LookDev HDRI rotating speed and stability. Support for the light path node inside of the world node tree has been added back, And also the Look Dev HDRI View Space Lighting option has also been added back. And in terms of performance, when it comes to material compilation and memory, we're getting some nice cool updates coming to Eevee, which means that material gets to be compiled faster. And for memory saving, Eevee now saves some texture memory by overlapping frame buffer and render textures at different times in a frame. Blender 5 introduced a significant feature that allows the compositor to speak to the video sequence editor, and that has brought about a wonderful handshake for video editors. And with Blender 5.1, there's a nice cool update for radial tiling, as the radial tiling node is now supported from the compositor to the video sequence editor. We are also having the index switch node, which is also being supported, and the new sequence strip information node is also being supported as well. And for those working with Compositor, there is also an SDF node. There is now a new mask to SDF node that allows you to simply turn any image or shape into a signed distance field. This can be super useful when compositing. Of course, there's also more compositor node tools that you also find here, and some of these has to do with performance, as group inputs is up to 30% faster in some cases. And if you work with glare, bidirectional blur, lens distortion, anti-aliasing, blur itself, and vector blur, they are now 2 times faster than Blender 5.0. Of course, there's a couple of changes that deals with various nodes that exist within the compositor. Additionally, the compositor now has a new workspace. So if you open up the compositor the next time, the default workspace will be totally different from what you know with 5.0. And in terms of the video sequence editor, the video sequence editor seems to be having some nice updates, but one of the cool ones is that the blade tool now has a box gesture which allows for quick cuts with support for rippling, and that is really nice. We're getting a new F-curve modifier, and this is called the Gaussian Smooth. This simply allows for that non-destructive smoothing of F-curves, and for technical reasons, this modifier has to be in the first position of your modifier stack where you're trying to clean out an animation. For the dope sheet, interpolation lines and the dope sheet are now colored to indicate the interpolation type, and that in itself is pretty cool. And if you follow previous videos, you would also know that now you can simply turn on show subframes, and once that gets enabled, the playhead now shows the subframes with 2 digits when you slide across your timeline. And if you work with asset libraries can now be individually disabled in preferences. At the same time, the catalogs hierarchy in the essential libraries can no longer be edited. And speaking about the asset shelf, the thumbnail preview size can now be resized down to 24 pixels, which now allows the fitting of more items per row. And once you're within the preference, you can now easily search for stuff. So if there's certain things that you're looking for within your preference, you can simply just dial that in and easily have access to that. For the preference, there's now support for filtering extensions by repository, and we also have a new update all, which is a convenient button to simply update all of the add-ons that needs update automatically. And if you work with a Mac, right now, you can now also have access to your iCloud drive right within your file browser. And if you work with Windows, you would also notice that once you plug in a USB and you're within your file browser, you would now be able to have access to that as well. When you're working with the quad view can now be resized by dragging the center point. Something else which you would also notice is when you're working with the quad view in 5.1, the quad view is now being simplified by not showing duplicated overlays, status messages, and gizmos. And something else which is pretty interesting is if you choose to copy an object without any object selected, you do have a message that simply says no object selected to copy, unlike previous versions that simply says copied 0 selected objects. And speaking about copying, you can now copy and paste nodes across various instances of Blender. So with previous versions of Blender, this is not possible, but with version 5.1, this is now something that is super possible. In terms of feedback, there's a ton of nice cool feedback from the status bar and various parts of the user interface that are notable. And of course, if you're working with Blender 5.1, you might notice some of these tiny updates here and there. For example, there is a better tooltip positioning for items. This is something that you might not necessarily pay attention to, but it's all these nice nitty-gritties that the folks at Blender have put together that makes working with Blender fun. Something that we showed off when we talked about the alpha and beta version of Blender 5.1 is that when you're doing your simple modeling, there are certain things that you can now do. The support for snapping to face center is a very cool option, and that is now available. There's also the new corrective flip normal boolean option, which is being enabled by default, and this is available in the apply object transform. And if you work with curves, there's now an improved font filling or 3D text object, and this now makes creating text and working with them inside of Blender a bit more fun, as the new fill algorithm is now the default for text object, and this now produces correct results with these fonts. Other than that, we're getting some nice cool updates in terms of snapping and precision movement when it comes to beveling. The UV now has the select tile, which is pretty nice. So if you're working with UVs, you can now simply use the select tile operator to select an individual tile. For sculpting, painting, and also texture, there is a dedicated blur brush which is now found within the sculpting mode. This is pretty nice. When you're making your texture painting, the escape button is now supported. So once you place your brush and you're making a painting, once you press the escape key, this can now undo the previous stroke that you've just done. And for virtual reality, we're having a bit of overhaul in terms of functionalities and also teleportation. And possibly, if you're into VR, you notice significant improvement when it has to do with teleportation across your scenes in Blender. And in terms of pipeline I/O, there are some nice cool updates in this regard. Now, if you work with images in Blender, you can now bring in an AVIF image right inside of Blender. For OpenEXR, there is a new lossless encoding option, which is the HTJ2K. This simply produces somewhat smaller files rather than other lossless compression method. FBX is getting some nice cool updates as well, so you can now export shape key normals when base normals are enabled. If you work with game engines, this is definitely going to be super useful for you. Amongst all of this, we're getting nice stability across Blender, as the name Winter of Quality came in handy, as more than 350 issues were reported and fixed. Additionally, developers worked on addressing technical depth as well as improving documentation. Of course, you can see some of these ones right here and check them out. So there are tons of things right now that you can actually come through and see for yourself. So whether you're working with a compositor or you're simply working with cycles and getting some nice cool performance update, or potentially you're working with Grease Pencil and you like to explore all of the cool features that are now available with that, or possibly you like to explore all the other parts of Blender and see some of the nice cool features that are now available with this, links to this is going to be in the description, so do well to check this out. At the same time, you're also going to find a couple of other interesting links in the description which deals with brand new Blender add-ons that are now available on Superhive, and we're currently making a video about this one. So for those who like to take a look at all these amazing add-ons that are now here, you can simply go ahead and check these ones out, and we're also going to put some very nice ones in the description that can get you some good percentage offs as well. So this is it. The folks at Blender Foundation have just released Blender 5.1 and this is super amazing. Tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment section, and of course if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give a like and don't forget to share with a friend. And until I see you guys in the next one, peace.